What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Positively with BPG. How can we build positively? Well, if you want to know, join me in this video. What's going on, everyone? I'm BPG and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, I make at least 2 Marvel Strike Force videos every single week, usually based around the events within the game. But sometimes I get a chance to sprinkle in videos just like this one here. So if you find the content in this video helpful, please do consider giving it a like, subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you don't miss any other BPG content. And whether you're new around here or not, smash a comment down below. I'd love to hear from each and every single one of you. So what does build positively mean? It is basically my way of growing my roster while staying within the constraints of the game and still being a free-to-play player. And to do this, I need to know what our resource income is and what the character release schedule free-to-play looks like. Now, this has all gone on its head recently. There is a video that I posted yesterday and also a blog that has come out on Thursday regarding the new character release strategies from Marvel Strike Force. So this will change slightly, but I'm going to keep track of this for all of you so you don't have to. All you have to do is watch these videos. And with that information, what can we do? Well, we can come up with a strategy of how best to spend our resources and how to build characters within the game. And who is this for? Well, in reality, this is for every single player in the game, but it's coming from my account perspective. So I am a mid to end game player. I've been playing the game for nearly 2 years now. So you could say I am an end game player now. And that is where we are looking at basically, but you can take any of the methods within this and apply them to the game that you're playing right now. And let's start off by having a look at our resource income from August. And we've got a bit of a gold income recap for you all. So my gold income in April was 161 million gold, which gave me about 5.3 million gold to spend daily. In May, that went up to 178 million gold. Now, remember, this is all gold coming into the account free to play. This can be a little RNG related. So, you know, this, if your figures don't exactly match this, then, you know, obviously RNG has come into this with the gold orbs that we open and possibly the mega gold orbs that we open. My June income rised again, 239.5 million gold coming into the account and give me 7.9 million gold to spend. And in July, we had another rise to 264 million gold. And what did our August gold income look like? Well, this is how I track my gold. This gets very long-winded, but basically every day I track how much gold I've spent, which you can do via the golden opportunity milestone. It tells you there how much gold you spent. I then basically take what my starting balance was, take the gold spent away, put my finishing balance in. That finishing balance then kicks over to the starting balance for the next day. That is my starting balance. And that gives me the gold income, which allows me to show you that total gold income, which was 263 million gold. So again, another increase in gold. Now, I am not the only content creator that has done this, and I want to give a massive shout out and thank you to Rage, because, you know, I saw his video and I thought instantly this was a brilliant idea and something I could expand upon. So Rage has been doing these videos for a long time now. Here is his latest one. Go to his channel and check it out. I'll leave a link to that in the description down below. But you can see here, he has been tracking his basically, I think since December, but January is where I've got him capped at. So from January to August, and you can see how the amount of gold has been increasing in his account every single month. So a bit like mine, we are pretty much on track. And this is just showing you really, you know, I was 263, he's 250 million. So obviously there's some RNG in there somewhere with gold orbs, you know, what drops you get out of the gold orbs, etc. But massive shout out to Rage and his videos on this. The next thing we need to know is our training material income and how that has, you know, either improved or not improved. So in July, that was my first real full month of tracking training materials. And in July, we got a total amount of training materials, enough to train 170.4 million golds worth of levels of character. So that is quite good. Obviously here we have the costs for leveling new characters. So leveling a character from level 1 to level 100. This is no gear. This is just purely the training cost for the character, is 23.4 million gold. And so in July, we could fully level 7 characters from level 1 to level 100. And if you had any like surplus training materials before that, you would not be digging into those materials. How did August look though? Well, this is the big sheet. This is the hard one. This shows you all the how I do this. I'm not going to show this one again because it is horrible to take a picture of for the videos, and also it's pretty unwieldy, and I don't know how much of this you guys can see, but basically very similar to the gold material economy or the gold economy. I have a starting balance for each of my green, blue, purple and gold training materials. That then goes into the spent. So I take a screenshot of what I spend when I upgrade a character in the evening, when the reset comes for the golden opportunity milestone. And then I put my finishing balance in, and that finishing balance will then kick over to the starting balance for the next day. So at 10 p.m. GMT, basically, that is when we have the, or British summertime as it is now, that is when I do all this sort of training material income. And that gives me the total training materials that we have. So the blue income, the purple income, the green income. And so in August, we had enough training materials come into the account to cover a total of 209 million gold worth of character levels. And again, same again, 23 million to level a character from 1 to 100. So in August, we can actually do 8.94, so nearly 9 characters. That's nearly a 2 character increase in training materials. Now, this might go down next month, and I'm actually expecting it to go down in September because we had that Shattered Dimension error where you were able to run Shattered Dimension more than twice, which is the usual. You're only normally getting 2 runs out of it, but unfortunately something went wrong in the game, and that meant that we could run it, and I managed to run every day, so I got 7 lots of rewards out of that. Not total rewards, but node rewards. There was a lot of training materials on those nodes, so I am expecting that to go down in September a little bit. And the other thing that we are tracking is T4 income. Again, this is very similar to the gold income. So at a certain time of day, usually the same time every day, which is at at the golden opportunity milestone reset. I will take what T4s I have and put that in. Obviously, that will give me a starting balance for the next day. I put any T4s that I've spent in, and that is going to give me my total T4 income. And you will see that in August, our total T4 income for the month was just over 4,000 T4s in the month of August. Now, we did have a first time reward for Orcus 1.2 and Orcus 1.1, so there's that to take into account. Also the fact that we are doing the Spotlight Raid 1.2, so we're getting a decent amount of T4s coming into the account every single day, and we are pretty much hitting 100% on that raid every single day. So our T4 costs, if we were to fully T4 a character, is 840 T4s. So with our August balance of just over 4,000, we will be able to do 5 total characters. And this is new. Now, this will make complete sense if you have watched the other videos that I've done, or if you've watched any other content creators videos, but I'm now going to be starting to track the power core income that we get into our accounts. And why am I doing that? Well, because power cores are just about to become even more important than they were previously. With the new character release method that Scopely have put forward to us, power cores and using those power cores to unlock characters, especially if you're free to play, is going to become even more important than it ever was before. So we're going to track this, we're going to keep on top of it, and hopefully by next month we'll be able to give you some sort of rough total power core economy into our accounts, so we can work out what we can do in regards to coring characters. And speaking of characters, it's time to look at the free-to-play character releases. And again, I track this release schedule, been tracking it since the start of this year, and we have had free-to-play release events. These unfortunately are due to stop. They're not going to be doing free-to-play release events as such anymore. We are going to be having these orbs that we are getting, that we saw first from the Illuminati, and then that was like the first iteration of it. The second iteration of it was the Annihilators team, where they released the new characters via orbs there. And then the Orcus team, we're seeing it now with the Sentinel orb. Again, a very similar thing. And so we can see here that the only new characters that we have added on since the Annihilators is the new Orcus raid team. Now, from the data mines, there is also the Night Stalkers team, which has been data mined as Blade. The Karen page that we all voted for, which has got another name, which I can't remember off the top of my head right now. Man Thing, which was voted for on the website. Moon Knight was one of the reworks that was voted for on the website, and the rework that was leaked in the data mines was Agatha Harkness. Obviously, she has a show coming up very, very soon, the Agatha All Along show, and if you know anything about Marvel Strike Force, they tend to put a lot of their releases based around what's going in the MCU at the time. So the only one I've put here, because we've got it set in stone, is the Orcus raid team. So that is Scientist Supreme and Lady Deathstrike, which are the reworks, Sentinel, Nimrod, and Omega Sentinel. And of course, the initial offers for Sentinel went live on the 3rd of September. So we are going to track to when we get some form of release event, or, you know, the second phase, as they're calling it in the blog, of releases for Sentinel. So in August 2024, the average days between free-to-play releases was 10.28 days. And in September, you know, with what we had so far in September, so basically Gladiator, we are looking at 10.91 days as an average. Now, that average is based over the year. That's not recent. You can see here that the actual days between release for free to play is about 30 days between the initial offer and the main event coming. So I think we are looking at that for a lot of the characters nowadays. I really like this picture. You know, breaking down what a strategy is. You know, you've got to think about your strategy, you've got to plan your strategy, and you've got to manage your strategy. We've basically currently been thinking about our strategies, as in we've been going over what the gold we've got coming into the account. We've been going over what power cores we've got coming into the account. Well, not what power cores we're going over what T4s we've got coming into the account, what training materials we've got coming into the account. So this is us thinking about a strategy, gathering some data to make this strategy happen. And as per usual, I want to take you all to the car showroom. Now, one of the things that I heard from a content creator that no longer creates content for Marvel Strike Force, which was Dogbert, but he said one thing that kind of struck a chord with me, and I think it is very true. Characters in Marvel Strike Force start depreciating from the day they are released. So the earlier you unlock them, the more use you get out of them before they completely depreciate. And that's very much like a car, which is why we are here in the car showroom right now. So this was the character build strategy that we came up with in the last video. This was the tweaked character build strategy. So we were going to level characters over the first 5 days of release. We were going to level them between 70 and 100, or yeah, from 1 to 100, but in those increments. And then the next 10 days that we had in between the free-to-play character releases, we would just use that time to either work on old characters or buy materials from the gold store for latest Dark Dimensions or whatever we were doing. Now, our gold income for August, as I said, was 263.5 million gold. With the 31 days in August, that actually gave us 8.5 million gold to spend per day. So as you can see, if we keep to this strategy, we will still be gaining gold daily, 2.5 million gold daily to be precise. We'll keep gaining that up, and that will allow us to pivot and do things that we need to as and when. And our training material income for the month, so that was 209 million golds worth of training materials. And as you can see here, if you were to do a very quick top up of this and times that by 3, which is the 3, your 30 days in a month effectively, we are still not near that 209 million golds worth of training materials. So again, we are pretty safe where that is concerned. So last month we were looking at my build strategy, and because I caught up on my list of what I was doing, so to go over my previous strategy, what I decided was NSF is very much like surfing. You're not going to chase a wave that's already gone past you. You are going to try and catch a wave and stay on that wave until it takes you right into the shore, and then come back out and pick up that next wave and come in on that one, and so on and so forth. So I decided that I was going to cut off my characters that I was building at the start of 2024. This was a few months ago now, so this was back when we were about 5 months in. About in May, I decided that I was going to cut that off and just focus on those teams that we had come out then and then going forward. So I wasn't going to go back any further than that. Now, come last month in August, I had caught up already. So this was what I was looking at. I was looking at doing the 2 reworked characters that we knew from the Annihilators. We hadn't had any communication about when any of the Annihilator events were happening, and that was quite clear why, because there were going to be no Annihilator events. We had confirmation of a Hank Pym event, so I put a rough date into when we would unlock him free to play, and then the subsequent sort of building of Hank Pym. What actually happened last month? Well, I did the Silver Surfer, and then I started thinking to myself, well, I'm getting pretty close to beginning Dark Dimension 7. So I've gone through the first 2, the first section of Dark Dimension 7, and I was getting close with materials for City. I thought we'll start to do that. So we took Spider-Man Noir and Peter B up to level 100 gear tier 19. We then built Hank Pym up a little bit. Then Gladiator came out, and I called for him on the 9th of August. And so we took him straight up once we called from him to 9518, just so we could make use of him in Arena. And the very next day we took him up to level 100. Then we carried on with Hank and Penny and Pav. And basically I've been going back over and just building my characters up from level 95 to 100. Obviously Gore then came out, so we did the same with Gore that we did with Gladiator, although we did take Gore straight to level 100 and gear tier 18. And again, we just kept on carrying back through. 23rd of August, we knew about the Orcus raid team and who was going to be there, so I've started working on those. I had a couple of free days there where I used that to buy and put Gear Tier 19 on the rest of my City team and some of my Global team. Now I am fully through City and I will be starting Global today, which is Thursday the 5th of September. So I will be starting the global sections later on when the golden opportunity milestone resets. So that is what I did in those sort of blank days. And then the rest of the time I've just spent building Scientist Supreme and Lady Deathstrike up for the Orcus raid team. And as you can see here, I have spent, or with this plan in mind, or with this in mind, what I did in August, I had 199 million gold worth of training costs there. So not close to what we had come in August. Now remember, with Marvel Strike Force, this is your game, it's your rules. I don't want you to think that I'm preaching to you and, you know, saying you have to do this my way. If you've got a team that you want to work on, you know, like say you love the Fantastic Four and that's the team you want to work on that team. Just if you want to keep up with the meta, this is how you do it. Okay, so what is my build strategy for September? Well, here we go. We have already started September. As I said, it is now the 5th of September. We have Lady Deathstrike and Scientist Supreme being worked on. Then I've given it a few days since the Sentinel release because I want to see if I can get lucky on those Sentinel orbs. But I think I've decided that once I have gotten to that part with him, I will probably end up dropping some cores onto him to try and get him unlocked. We're then just going to carry on as we were, building our older team, well, the 2024 teams up to level 100 and Gear Tier 18 and possibly 19. Focusing, starting off on things like arena teams and raid teams. To me, as a free-to-play player, that is the game modes that happen daily. They provide power cores, they provide training materials, they provide actual, you know, materials like crimson gear materials and stuff like that. So they are really, really important, and because of that, they come as a priority to me. The PvP modes after that, outside of arena, they are a secondary, which is why you'll see here that the Orcus team, the you know, teams like Orcus, teams like Hivemind, teams like Alpha Flight, even although they are a war defense team, they are also a raid team. Those are teams that I want to work on first, and then I'm going to work on the PvP teams based on when they came out. And again, we can be nice and flexible with this, but if you see here, with this build method, this build strategy, we are going to spend about 188 million gold worth of training materials. That is keeping within a rough sort of average of the gold materials from, or the training materials from last month and the month before. I think that's pretty good. I think this is a pretty solid strategy. I might change it up dependent on what happens with, you know, Sentinel and Nimrod and Omega Sentinel. But the number one thing I need to do for my alliance certainly is to get my tech Orcus team up and running so we can start spreading out on those tech nodes, because at the moment we are dogpiling both the tech section and the mystic section, and that's making us miss out on nodes and ultimately rewards as players. So that is very important. So there you have it. That is building positively this month with BPG. We have managed our strategy a little bit more this month. We're going to add in the power cores going forwards because I think that is a very, very important topic. And we'll go over more of that in next month's video of Build Positively. Let me know your strategies for building in Marvel Strike Force down below in the comments. Don't forget, if this video has been helpful to you, consider giving it a like and maybe even share it with some of your Alliance mates. And until next time, everyone, stay positive.